Today we're going to talk about tessellations. And tessellations are shapes that closely fit together in a repeated pattern without any gaps or overlaps. Probably the most famous artist to use tessellations was M.C. Escher. And you can see that he's perfectly fit together these images of a Pegasus, one right after another. And you can see the same thing with these images of the lizard. Now, this print helps us understand a little bit of his process because what he's fitting together isn't exactly a lizard or a Pegasus, as we can kind of see with the fish, is that he's fitting together triangles, rectangles, and squares. And so today I'm going to have you explore tessellations. I've linked to a few websites that you can make patterns that tessellate on. But then I'm also going to challenge you to make your own tessellation. And we can use a basic shape like a square or a rectangle to do it. And I'd like to show you how to do it. The most basic shape that tessellates is a rectangle or a square. Diamond does too. And we can see that fairly easily just by tracing it out. And then fitting it together. And we can see pretty clearly that I could repeat this again and again and again. But one of the ways that we can make a more complicated tessellation is by drawing on one side of a piece, cutting it out, and then attaching it to the opposite side. So let's see what that looks like exactly. So I have this small piece and I can cut it here. And then when I attach it, I'll just have to move it over exactly the same to the other side right at the end. So it's going to line up there. And I can attach it with a little piece of tape. Will do. It could be any kind of tape that you might have around your house. It'll be just fine. Probably might not even need tape, but if you've got some, it's going to be great. And you're going to want to make sure that it's lined up just right across the top. Let's see how we're doing here. All right. Now, what we can find out is that this new shape should also tessellate. So if I trace this part, the part that I moved is going to move and fit exactly in the opposite side. So I can move the same shape right over here, and it fits like a puzzle, and it's exactly what I want. So I can trace that part, bring this down, bring it around again, and do the same thing. Now I can do the same thing on another side too. So if I wanted to add one more to the bottom, I could take this part out and add that here. I made this tessellation a little bit earlier. We can see it's got a lot of small parts. So let's see how that tessellates out and give that an opportunity to fit together. So I made my first trace here, and you can see the part that's down at the bottom looks like it should fit right at the top. Let me go ahead and give that a try. And yep, absolutely fits. So my next tessellation on this side will extend from the original rectangle through the top. And you can see I was really careful to make sure all the parts I taped together line up just right. Now, your tessellation doesn't have to have this many curves or this many cutouts. You can do any kind that you imagine. But what matters here is I'd like you to figure out a way to make a tessellation that fits together. Oh, next one. You can see it fits right in there. And then on top of it, after it's all super snug, I want you to go ahead and either transform the space into an object, like we saw with Escher. You can think of an animal or a thing, but then I'd also like you to maybe think about some kind of coloring or patterning that you could do inside of it. So you have a couple options of how you can finalize your tessellation. But the main idea here is that I want you to use a regular shape, like a rectangle or a square. I'd like you to cut out one side and add from that cutout side to the opposite side to see what exactly you could do to create your own tessellating pattern. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do, and we'll take that forward from there.